Let's hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. It's time for Pocket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X as well as YouTube. We have a loaded slate yesterday, not so loaded today, loaded tomorrow. We got 4 games on the ice today, and lots of these games so meaningful. So we're going to jump straight into it again. If you can't stick around for the full show, make sure that you do come back for the recap. I'll make sure I bookmark when the recap is, but we're going to kick off these games with the first one here being the matchup between the Minnesota Wild and the New Jersey Devils. Now, Gustafsson will be expected in net tonight for the Minnesota Wild and Jacob Markstrom here for the New Jersey Devils. And yes, deja vu here. We did see these teams match up on Saturday, and we saw the Minnesota Wild lose that game at home. Now they've come into New Jersey. The New Jersey Devils got that win in Minnesota 5-2 on Saturday. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Wild are able to do in this one. Now the Wild are not secure in their wild card spot. Right now they're currently 4th in the Central, first wild card spot. With 87 points in 74 games. This St. Louis Blues teams won their last 9. They are chasing the Minnesota Wild for that first wild card spot. With 87 points in 75 games. So the Wild need this win. For the Wild to get a win, they have to lock down defensively. And we look at that last matchup versus the New Jersey Devils at home. And this team should have played stronger. In the first period, the Devils had a 2-1 lead. We had that 0-0 lockdown in the second period. And then in the third period, everything fell apart for the Minnesota Wild. We saw 3 goals out of the New Jersey Devils, 1 out of the Wild, and the Devils winning that 5-2. I'm expecting the defense to start this game off. I'm not expecting 3 goals like we saw in the first period of the last one. I do think the first period has to stay under 1.5 goals. Gustafsson and Jacob Markstrom have to stand tall between the pipes. I'll take the under 1.5 at minus 124. Lots to play for here for both of these teams. The Devils sitting 3rd in the Metro. Now, Cody Glass is day-to-day, so not sure if he's going to be making the ice tonight for the Devils. It's undisclosed. And in that last game, Nico Hischier was able to get his second career hat trick for the New Jersey Devils. I do think he still rolls in strong in this one. Ryan Hartman also got us that goal for the Wild, but I'm going to stay off of any player props in this because I do think it's that lower scoring game. I'm expecting a 3-1 game here for the winner with that empty netter coming. A 2-1 tight game, 3-goal game because of an empty netter. And I do think this is a coin flip here. I think the Wild have to win it for this to be a lower scoring game. I do think it's the Wild that are able to get the win. So if you want to back the Wild in this one, just giving you the odds, they are plus 126 here on the money line. The New Jersey Devils coming in at minus 152. And that total sitting at 5.5. Again, I'll look at the under 5.5 for the full game at minus 140. The first period under 1.5 at minus 124. And I do think the Wild at plus 126 are worth a shot here if they can lock down defensively. That is how they will get the win. Jimmy, a good morning to you. It's good to see you here on a Monday morning. I'll talk with Jo on SportsGrid TV on X. The Devils got this. John, you're rolling with the Devils to get another win. Let's make some freaking money is right. Good morning, Mo, as well. And Chad, let's make some freaking money for sure. So let's jump into the next game here. We're going to look at the Nashville Predators taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, Saros in the last meeting allowed 3 goals on 23 shots on goal. And I do think versus the Flyers, and I do think in this one, he's going to allow those goals to come in. We know that the Flyers, ever since firing their coach, Tortorella, have been stepping up. And it's like this team was so strong or tried to play so strong defensively. Offensively, they just weren't getting things done. And now we're seeing them come out, play that offensive hockey that fans were hoping for. Now, Michkov has been stellar in his last 2 games without Tortorella. It's like he's being allowed out of his cage. Someone threw that at me, and that's all I can think of now. And we're actually seeing it happen. They said that, I believe it was Mark after the first one, and now it's exactly what we're seeing. So Michkov here in the last 2 games, he's got 2 goals in both. Can he get the Hattie in this one? I'd freaking love to see him get the Hattie. And I do think he has every opportunity of being able to get it. Now, you look at him, goal number 25 is loading tonight. So I'm definitely going to take him for 1. I'm going to do the latter. 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals for Michkov. Let's just pull up those odds because I haven't got this bet in as of yet. Everything was locked for me on FanDuel this morning. It was kind of weird. So the anytime goal plus 195 for Michkov, the 2 goals at plus 1,500. And you ready for the Hattie? The Hattie's coming in at plus 10,000. So I'm going to put a third of the unit on each of those. Yeah, it's going to be hard for him to do so, but they are playing the Nashville Predators. And I do think Saros can allow those goals to the Philadelphia Flyers. So I'm going to look at a couple of things to do as well as Michkov. Like I said, since firing Tortorella, Michkov has 2 goals in each of those. So plus 1,500, if he just gets the 2 goals, we are plus 1,500 bet in this one. Konecny still has goal number 25 loading, so definitely someone you want to watch. He's had 3 assists since the firing, 2 assists in the last game, 1 in the prior, or vice versa. I can't remember which way that one went, but I do think Konecny should have goal number 25 loading versus Saros tonight. On the other side, if you really want to look at someone, it is Forsberg here. Forsberg is loading for goal number 29 and assist number 40. He's sitting here with 67 points. Jonathan Marchessault still hasn't hit us goal number 20. So if you've been rolling with that, I wouldn't give up here because we do have a Flyers team that's allowing those goals to come in. Buffalo still was able to put up 4 on them in the Flyers win 7-4 over Buffalo on Saturday. Now, I would look at Forsberg and then Marchessault and then Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly, 17 goals, 27 points for 40 or 27 assists for 44 points. So a great way to look in this one. Again, it's Urjan versus Saros. We have seen the Preds lose their last 2. Nothing to play for here for this team sitting 7th in the Central, and they're at the Columbus Blue Jackets on Tuesday. So they are up that loss to Vegas, and they still only allowed 3 goals by the Vegas Golden Knights. So that was pretty good showing defensively. I do think this team has some legs to stand on going into next season, and we should see a better season out of them. I do think, they added Stamkos, they added Marchessault. So this offense took a while to get going, and then defensively and goaltending-wise, they just had those struggles. So I'm looking for a stronger season next year. I think they need to make some moves on defense. We'll see what they end up doing, but I think the Flyers here will capitalize. We've got some strong players to look at with Michkov and Konecny. I think you can look at the team total here for the Flyers. Now, the problem is the team total. The books are giving us a 2.5. It's minus 156 to the over. It's too much juice. You can alt that to 4+ goals for the Flyers if you think that they can get 4 or more goals in this. And I do think so. I can't see a situation where Saros is really going to limit the Flyers in this matchup with how weak the defense is and for how the Flyers are flying out there on the ice. You can also look at the first period over 1.5 goals. The first period over 1.5 goals coming in at minus 118. So that's where I'm going with that. We will do the recap at the end of the show. Oh, and then Fedorov starting. Just take the over. This is an over game here all day long, and we're going to get those goals coming in. So the Preds are going to score as well. First period over 1.5 goals. It's still sitting at minus 118. Let me look at what both teams are to score in that first period, because with Fedorov getting the start, this could be a nice both teams to score start. It's coming in at plus 170. You just got to wonder if the Predators will be able to get that goal nice and quick. Sometimes they don't. So caution with that one. Okay, let's talk Calgary versus Colorado. My Calgary Flames in action and so desperate to get the win. It seems like their playoff destiny feels like it's out of reach because of the St. Louis Blues and how strong this team has been playing. St. Louis is just determined not to take a loss, and if they win every single game, That's going to leave Calgary and Vancouver standing there no matter what they do, it feels, without that playoff wildcard spot. So Calgary, they haven't given up hope. They will face Colorado tonight. Now, Calgary is a huge underdog coming into this one. And it's interesting to see because they've got so much to play for. They still believe that the Blues are going to go on a losing streak and they can catch Vancouver and then be able to take that last wild card spot. So they're plus 210. Colorado is a minus 260 favorite. And yes, Colorado's won both meetings so far this season. Both of those meetings were 4-2 wins by the Colorado Avalanche. Yes, they were absolutely painful as a Calgary fan. And Colorado has so much speed, you guys. You know their ability in transition. That speed is going to be an issue for Calgary today, as they should be able to break away. But can Dustin Wolf stand on his head? If Dustin Wolf can have that night that we are all hoping for, then he has in some of these games at home, we should be able to see Calgary at least keep this one tight. Currently, that puck line for the Calgary Flames plus 1.5 at minus 114. I could see the overtime bet in this game. The total is sitting at minus 140. And if this goes over 5.5, I struggle to see Calgary winning it. It could go over because of overtime, though. So plus 380 for the overtime bet, I think, is in play. Calgary has to lock down on the defensive side of things and really limit this fast-paced team of Colorado. Their one shining light here is Mackenzie Blackwood in net for Colorado tonight. He's had those struggles over the years versus the Calgary Flames. Now, in that last game, he's played one of these games versus Calgary that the Avs have won. He allowed 2 goals, but those 2 goals came on limited shots on his net. We look at him career versus Calgary. He's 2-3-1 with a 4.00 goals against average and an 889 save percentage. So you look at that, the save percentage is below 900. You've got a desperate Calgary team looking to get these wins. And I know desperate teams are hard to bet on, but I do think the power play, Calgary can't take penalties. Calgary takes penalties. Colorado is dominating. They're winning this like 8-2, right? Like if that happens, but I think Calgary has to play smart. They have to limit those penalties and not allow Colorado to go on the power play. The power play converting here for the Colorado Avalanche at 25.6%. The kill isn't elite here for Colorado. It's 79%. It's not, that 82.5% that we've got of some other teams. But I do think they should be able to neutralize Calgary on the power play. If Calgary is scoring, though, on that power play, Mackenzie Weegar, definitely the defenseman here you want to look at. The defenseman, Mackenzie Weegar, for his power play point, it's great value. It's coming in at plus 320. Nearly half of his points this season have come via the power play. So when we break it down, he's got 7 goals, 34 assists on the season for 41 points. 4 power play goals and 15 power play assists. So 19 power play points on the season, and he's got 41 total. So I do like looking here at the power play point for Mackenzie Weegar. I think he can get things done. And then you guys know that I look at Huberdeau and I look at Kadri. Jonathan Huberdeau for 2+ points tonight, coming in at plus 450. The anytime goal is plus 300. I think both of those are worth a look. If you don't want to look at Kadri and Huberdeau parlayed, I would just break apart Huberdeau here for his ability to get things done. Now, both these guys had 0 points versus Edmonton. That was a hard-fought battle versus the Edmonton Oilers. They lost it in overtime, 3-2. It was a heartbreaker. Calgary's now lost 2 in a row, 5-3-2 in their last 10. Not where we're hoping to be. 80 points in 72 games. So they're still behind the Blues and Vancouver, but they have a couple games in hand, so they're not out of this. Looking at Kadri, he's been hot, right? Like he's got 30 goals, 28 assists, so 58 points, 0 versus Edmonton. But both of these guys in their last 4 have 8 points between Huberdeau and Kadri, so 16 together. So I'm going to look at those points to come in. But Huberdeau, he's got 27 goals, 31 assists, and 58 points. I do think Huberdeau could get point number 60 tonight. That would take 2 points out there. So again, Huberdeau is plus 450, plus 300 for the goal. Plus 450 is the 2+ points. And then when we look here at Colorado, we know they've won the first 2, right? The Avs opened, March 14th was the last game. The Avs opened the scoring 1-0 in the first period. Calgary didn't score till late in that third. And so it was a 4-2 win for Colorado. And then we saw the same thing in February. It was a 4-2 win for Colorado, but Calgary opened the scoring, and then Colorado answered back with 3 quick goals in the second period. So it's going to be a battle between these two. Martin Necas in that first game in February was able to score twice versus the Flames. I do think Necas comes out strong for Colorado. This team is so powerful, you guys. They are sitting here third in the Central, sorry. Dallas is second. So they're third in the Central with 93 points in 74 games. The Dallas Stars have 100 points in 73. Like, I don't know about Dallas, you guys. They're this team that is just like sneaky good. Mikko Rantanen added to their lineup. We're going to start talking about them here as they take on the Seattle Kraken, but this is a team I didn't think could take the Stanley Cup. And with Mikko Rantanen added to the lineup, this team is playing some freaking good hockey. So let's jump into that. But with Calgary, I'm going to look at Calgary plus the 1.5 on the puck line at minus 124. I think this is a tight game that we do see the overtime at plus 380. So give me the puck line here. I just don't trust Mackenzie Blackwood's numbers. And now we have Scott Wedgwood starting for Colorado. So this is why goaltending matchups are so important, you guys. I'm going to just look up for you Scott Wedgwood versus Calgary, get those numbers because I don't have them in my head because I was expecting Blackwood. So this is a really good thing for Calgary. We could sprinkle on the money line. You look at Scott Wedgwood, how he's played versus the Calgary Flames. He's gone 1-3-1 in 5 games with a goals against average of 3.60. That save percentage is worse than Blackwood's versus Calgary. It's at 895. Now, he did play in the 14th game of this month. He allowed 2 goals on 24 shots. That save percentage went up to 917 in that game versus them. He played the full time out there on the ice. But you look at back in November of last season when he played versus Calgary, when he was with the Dallas Stars, we saw him allow 4 goals. The game prior, he allowed 6. Both of those with the Dallas Stars, not with Colorado, of course. But that save percentage when he allowed 6, it was on 36 shots on goal, so 833 save percentage. And when he allowed the 4, it was on 36 shots on goal as well, so 32 save shots, so 889 save percentage. I do think we can now look at Calgary. I just want to see if those lines have moved. Calgary is coming in. Let me just refresh FanDuel to make sure there's no updates that I am missing any movement. No, it's still plus 210 for Calgary, plus 1.5 at minus 114 on that puck line. I know Colorado is the better team, but it's going to be a battle between those. And I know, how can you not ride a Philly right now? Get on them while they're hot, you guys. The Philadelphia Flyers just rolling out there. So let's move on to the Dallas Stars. Thank you again for pointing out that it is Scott Wedgwood in net. So the Dallas Stars are a minus 170 favorite over a team they just beat. We just did see this matchup on Saturday with the Dallas Stars coming off that Alberta double-double. You guys know I thought the Kraken might be live. Kraken looked terrible in that game. They were only able to put up 1 goal on the Dallas Stars, and the Dallas Stars just continued to roll hot. So last game of a road trip here versus the team they just faced. I know a lot of people like to look at sudden revenge, but can we get sudden revenge out of the Seattle Kraken? I just am not buying into it. The Seattle Kraken are a plus 140 underdog. You've got a total of 6.5, minus 115 to the under, minus 105 to the over. I'm looking for another domination here by the Dallas Stars. Maybe not as many goals, but you look at that power play, it's converting at 22.8%. For the Dallas Stars, they went 2-5 on the power play in the last game. So we saw undisciplined hockey out of the Seattle Kraken. The kill is so strong here for Dallas at 84.5%. Now they've won their last 5. They are at home. So last game of a road trip, normally a fade spot, but this team will continue to roll hot. The Preds on Thursday, and then the Pittsburgh Penguins on Sunday. And when we look at the Seattle Kraken, they're going to start a road trip. And you look at the rest of their schedule, you guys, we already are talking the rest of the schedule. April 1st is tomorrow. Season ends on the 17th. You've got the Seattle Kraken headed on a road trip. They will face Vancouver on Wednesday, the Sharks on Saturday, the Kings on Monday, Utah Tuesday, and then Vegas to end that road trip. So a 5-game road trip. They come home for 2 games only. They're home versus the Blues and the Kings. So it's crazy to think they've got really hard opponents here in their last 3 home games. This is their 3rd last home game of the season. It's just mind-boggling boggling how fast this season has gone. So again, I want to thank you guys for joining me here every day on Pocket with Jo. It's been an incredible season. When we look here at the Dallas Stars, this is how we've got to bet something, right? For Seattle, if you want to look at two players, I'm going to look at two players that I do think, actually just one. I like Brandon Montour. The offensive defenseman out there in the last game versus Dallas did have 5 shots on goal. Brandon Montour has 16 goals, 23 assists, and 39 points. Point number 40 for Brandon Montour. Give it to me tonight. It's coming in at plus 126. I love the plus money we're getting on him. If you think he gets that goal tonight, go for it. You're going to get that at like plus 500 to your money. It's going to be hard, though. Dallas's defense is really locking down, and Seattle struggles to score. Jared McCann also had 7 shots in the last game. I just don't trust him, you guys. He does have assist number 35 loading, goal number 19 loading, so 52 points on the season. Jared McCann should be able to get something done, but I just don't want to bet him. But last game he did have 7 shots on Dallas. I want to bet here on Dallas. I want to bet on players for Dallas to get things done. So I will put some money on Brandon Montour, but the rest is all about Dallas. Wyatt Johnson, goal number 30 loading. You know we made so much freaking money with this kid last season, especially at the end when they were making their playoff push. I think Wyatt Johnson can get goal number 30 tonight. Now his goal number 30, I'm pretty sure it's not as much value as we want. Looking at him for goal number 30, yeah, it's plus 180. So I still think that plus money is good, but definitely somewhere to look. Rantanen has been solid, Rupe Hintz and Jason Robinson. So all of those are playmakers. I'm going to take the Dallas Stars, laying the 1.5 at plus 146 on that puck line. I do think the first period puck line is worth a look as well. The puck line in the first period, laying a half a goals, plus 144. The last game we saw, actually Seattle open up the scoring, but it was a 2-1 first period for the Dallas Stars. So they did get out of the first period with the win. So first period puck line, minus a half a goal, plus 144. And then the Stars minus 1.5 at plus 146 for the full game, expecting them to continue to roll hot in this one. So that is where we're going. Mikko Rantanen, Mo, I love that you always come at us with those stats. You got to take Mikko Rantanen now for 700 career points. He has 698 per Mo, and Mo, I absolutely love that. So let's go. Yeah, the Stars are rolling in that first period against the Pacific Division. So great first period look here for the Dallas Stars to continue to roll hot. David, thank you for throwing out that stat. Yeah, only 1 goal all for them in the last game. You could look at Dallas, their team total under 2.5. I think it is too highly juiced, and that's why I didn't bet it this morning. When I was looking at it, I believe it's under 2.5. Actually, they're giving us plus 108 to the under 2.5. Maybe that is why I stayed off, because I looked at that line and went, oh, that is not a pretty line, because I expect it to be minus 156. I just don't see the Seattle Kraken putting up 3 goals in this game. I do think Dallas comes out strong in this one. So that's where I'm going to go. You guys, I just want to check one more thing. What we're seeing, we're still expecting Jake Ottinger. So I don't see a reason why they wouldn't start Jake Ottinger in net for this matchup here for the Dallas Stars. Now, if they don't start Ottinger, Casey DeSmith, I still think can have a solid game. Looking at Casey DeSmith, you guys, he played that game versus Calgary. He stopped 46 of 48 shots on his goal. So, and that was what I wanted to look at, that last number. Calgary was unable to get anything past him. And I do think Casey DeSmith will be able to do the same thing to the Seattle Kraken. So the Kraken's team total under 2.5. Lots of people looking at that revenge angle. I just don't see it happening. The Kraken are not strong enough for me to get that revenge angle. And yeah, we're going to look at those 2+ points tonight. Mo, since you threw out Mikko Rantanen, there's no way we cannot look at Mikko Rantanen for those 2+. But let's jump into a quick recap here, you guys, and then we'll do the player prop recap. And then stay tuned for my cup of Joe. I tell you, the madness yesterday. Oh my God. What games? Everyone knows I had Michigan State plus the 5.5. They lost by 6. I was looking for that money line sprinkle in the madness yesterday. It only got up to plus 220 on Michigan State. Glad I wasn't able to. I wanted a plus 400 that I would have jumped in. But too bad Tom Izzo didn't have his team ready and fired up to take on Auburn. Auburn just came out so strong. So But the Cup of Joe, otherwise, for the earlier game, we cashed everything within that. So hopefully you guys made some freaking money with me yesterday with that Cup of Joe. A Cup of Joe will be loading in the NBA as well. Stay tuned to Game Time Decisions for my Sports Millions Pick'ems, which is in the NBA today, looking at the Clippers game versus the Orlando Magic. Couple player props you want to jump in on there. So stay tuned, you guys. Let's jump into, and the SportsGrid app will have my Madden Quickie, so check that out. So let's jump into the recap. 25-minute mark on the dot, you guys. Minnesota Wild taking on the New Jersey Devils. The Devils just did win this one 5-2, but I'm expecting that lower scoring matchup in this game. Give me the under 1.5 in the first period at -124. I do think it stays under 5.5 for the full game. It's juicy though at -140. I am looking for that defensive battle, so no player props for me in this one. Both teams have so much to play for. The Nashville Predators and the Philadelphia Flyers. This one, I'm expecting that offensive explosion in this game. I'm going to take the over 1.5 in the first period at -118. I'm then going to take the team total ulted for the Flyers. Their team totals 2.5. It's -156 to the over. Way too much juice. I'll ult it to 4+ goals. Get some great plus money. I'm going to put a ladder here on Michkov. Michkov, since Tortorella was fired, has been able to get those points on the board. 2 goals in the last 2 games. I will take Michkov for a goal. I will take Michkov for 2 goals, and I will take him for the Hattie. Now, if you put a third of a unit on each, or even, I would put a quarter of a unit on each and then use a quarter of a unit for 2+ points. So that is where I would go for Michkov. Again, I'm getting those bets in after. Everything was locked for him before we started the show. And then Konecki, goal number 25 is loading. Konecki and Michkov have been getting those points on the board. He's got 3 points over the last 2 games. On the other side, if you want to look at someone here for the Predators to push, it would be Forsberg. Forsberg has 39 assists. I could see that assist tonight. 28 goals and 67 points. Jonathan Marchessault still got goal number 20 loading. The Calgary Flames versus the Colorado Avalanche. Scott Wedgwood now in net. He's got worse numbers than Blackwood. So now I'm all over Calgary for a sprinkle on that money line. Give me Calgary, though, +1.5 on the puck line as the best bet between those two. Give me Kadri and Huberdeau parlayed for a point at +147. And then the 2+ points for Huberdeau and the goal for Huberdeau, I do think, is in play. Mackenzie Weegar, I love for the power play point tonight. That's coming in at +320. Nathan MacKinnon on the other side. Nathan MacKinnon is averaging right on 4 shots on goal per game. We're getting a number of 4 shots on goal tonight, coming in at -128. So if you like some juice, if you want to lay it, Nathan MacKinnon, definitely, he's going to be explosive in this game. He's going to be firing at Dustin Wolf. This is going to come down to Wolfie and what he can do between the pipes. And then the Dallas Stars and the Seattle Kraken. Our Saturday rematch, I think, picks up where it left off, and Dallas rolls hot in this one. Give me the Dallas Stars on the puck line in the first period, laying that half a goal at +144. The Dallas Stars on the puck line for the full game, laying 1.5 goals at +146. Wyatt Johnson for goal number 30. And Mikko Rantanen, because Mo threw it out, coming up to 700 career points. Give me him for 2+ points tonight. He has 81 points on the season, 31 goals and 50 assists. On the other side for Seattle, I will look at Brandon Montour. Brandon Montour has 39 points. So I want that point tonight. It's coming in at +126 for point number 40. We're getting plus money with a guy that had 5 shots on goal in the last game. Look for one to sneak past Ottinger tonight. So Brandon Montour for point number 40, if you want to take him for the goal. I think it does come via the goal. So let's do the player prop recap, where I'm going to go for those 2+ points. I really do think Huberdeau here for the Calgary Flames, 2+ points at +450 is my favorite bet. He has to show up for the Calgary Flames tonight versus Colorado. And I do think with Scott Wedgwood in net, Huberdeau has every possibility of getting those 2+ points. I then would look at Mackenzie Weegar on the power play. You guys, we talked about how strong he is on that power play. Majority or half of, just less than half of his points have come on the power play. So with a total of 19 power play points in the season, total of 41 power play or points overall, I do think getting that power play point at +320 is a great way to look. I'd also look at Wyatt Johnson for goal number 30 tonight for the Dallas Stars. Those are my three favorite, fourth favorite being Michkov here, to come out and be able to rack up those goals again tonight. 2+ points, probably a really solid way to look, because then if we do get the assist because Konecki is able to get that goal, we get an assist out of Michkov, then you're sitting pretty with the 2+ points for Michkov. So you guys, all the best in all of your bets. Thank you again so much for joining me here for the Daily Pocket with Jo. Again, make sure you check out the Cup of Jo today. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice. We'll see you back here tomorrow, and it is a loaded slate on the ice tomorrow as we go into the final month here. It's crazy. How are we already the final month of the NHL season? It just feels like we kicked off Pocket with Jo for the season. So we have a loaded one. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 games tomorrow on deck. So it'll be a long show tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Thank you to each and every single one of you. I appreciate you being here. Talk to you tomorrow. Hit some anytime goal scorers as well as save shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at +185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at -120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Pocket with Jo.